My name is Blue, Jazzy Blue. After 10 long years, I have finally come back. I'm a man on a mission. The goal? Retrieve my stolen relics. How, you ask? With a pen, some pixels, and a lot of determination. Will I be able to complete this quest?
Well, hello there. I know it's Wednesday, but let's pretend it's Tuesday, yeah? Just kidding. Yesterday, I completed the goal I had set for this year, so I decided to take the rest of the day off to celebrate. The goal was art related, of course. Let's ignore any college related stuff, yeah? Anyways, for this video, I bring you the best artworks I have made so far. Of course, this is my opinion, and you might think otherwise, but I seriously love this. So let's get started and you will see what I mean. First painting of the day will be an illustration. To be honest, there was a bit of back and forth since they were torn between the full body or illustration, and well, you know I really like painting illustrations, so I gave a little push. They didn't have any ideas for a possible background, so I started asking personality traits or things they enjoyed in general. So we ended up with bats, red and purple. Not a lot, but just enough for an image to form in my head. You see, I recently watched The Hobbit followed by The Lord of the Rings. Total masterpieces, by the way, and I would definitely recommend. I especially liked the way they glued together the ending of The Last Hobbit and the first Lord of the Rings together. It's so nice, and if you will watch these 6 movies, please watch The Hobbit first. I know it came out later, but the transition is just so nice. Anyways, getting back on topic, there's these scenes where Gandalf calls upon these giant eagles to help them out, so my idea was, why eagles and not bats? TLDR, here we are now, a full illustration of this coyote flying on the back of a giant bat. To be honest, I don't remember how much this was, and scrolling through the DMs didn't help since we always mentioned the payment, but not what payment. Ah well. At this time, I think it was 2 solids, maybe 3, I'm not sure. I know I transitioned between these 2 prices at around this time, but oh well. You see how a lot of times people sell illustrations, and when I say people, I guess I'm mostly referring to me because I don't see a lot of people advertising illustrations on Animal Jam, but I digress. Anyways, I see illustrations as a full body with a background, yeah? It doesn't work exactly like that, and this is a great example. If you notice, half of the body is covered up by the bat, and there's more than one entity drawn. Illustrations can be of all shapes and sizes. Well, I suppose on AJ only one size, but you get the idea. And since characters will be interacting with the environment around them, sometimes we lose a bit of their exposure to portray a certain idea or mood better. I feel like I lose a lot of potential always trying to fit the whole animal in the picture, but sometimes we just have to cut them off. Just a bit, and the results will be worth it. I tend to forget that a lot. Anyways, for the background, since bats are nocturnal creatures, I went with the night setting. Remember red being a favorite color? Well, why not a blood moon? I think that was a really good addition. For the land itself, I wanted to make it kinda dead, you know? No trees or any sign of life, just a small river crossing these devastated fields. Would life be able to be reborn here? No one knows. My favorite detail is the light of the moon reflecting on the river and other creatures. I swear that moon carried a good chunk of the vibe. The bats are really fun to draw too. I searched a lot of different references so I could draw bats flying in different positions, otherwise the illustration would feel too stiff. I really love the fluffy bats, big ears people draw around the internet, so I went with that instead of a more anatomy correct one. I wanted the viewer to really feel how amazing and exciting the flight like this would be, so I added a big smile on the character and their paw reaching out to feel the wind and its incredible speed. Or was it the bat that was fast? Well, maybe both, who cares? I mentioned removing the socks so we could see the paw shape better, but the owner really wanted to keep the socks and of course I complied. In the end, this was one of my favorite paintings ever. I love how the bats look, how they are slightly tilted in different directions, the fur texture, the background colors, and small reflections that really make this piece pop. What do you guys think? For the next one, we will be drawing a full body. The OC was this orange Arctic wolf with their pet. Same problem with the last one, I can't remember how much it was, but I'm betting 2 solids. I didn't really charge for the pet because I never know what to charge when your pricing is all in solids. It doesn't seem fair to charge a solid for a pet. And if you ask for another colored long, they might not have it, so do you guys have any suggestions? Oh, and they sent me an orange long as a tip. Thank you so much. I never expect these and it's always such an amazing surprise. Since their head item was rather goofy and funny looking to me, I went for a rather silly theme. I had the idea of curving the headpiece to be staring at the pet. For the background, I went all out with the shapes. Because the character was mostly orange, and while blue and orange are like a favorite combo of mine, I went with the different blue tones and sometimes a little lilac to fill in the shapes. I added from wavy lines to squares and triangles, really anything I could think of. Where segments of these shapes would cross, I would change the color and think it added a really neat effect. If anything, I had a lot of fun with it. For the full body itself, I had a bit more trouble. Since the character was mainly orange, it also meant that there were different tones of orange used in the fur or items. So I tried to keep those tones, but then shading them became a problem since I don't have a lot of variety in my hands. Still, I'd say it was pretty doable. Remember me talking about a possible fur texture in my style? Well, I feel like you can really see it when you look at the tail or the pet. For the tail, at first it was rather messy, to be honest. I don't really know what I'm doing. But in the end, I really like the different shades working together to give the little fur tufts volume. For the pet, I used the same technique present in the bat from the previous artwork. It even helped that they were similar colors, and I really liked this double sort of effect. For the eyes, including the eyeball hat, I really wanted to make them pop, so I added some blue shines, even though it might look a bit out of place. I still enjoyed it. To tie everything together, I finished with a darker blue outline, and it's ready to deliver. Here's the final result. Lastly, the first Animal Jam illustration I procrastinated on. What do you know? So, the character was this fox, and they wanted their pet bat with them. I think this one was 3 solids, but again, not certain. I'm so sorry. At this point, my creativity was running a bit dry, and although they wanted to give me full creative freedom, I tried pressing a little to know their likes. Turns out they are a fall lover just like me. I mean, who doesn't love seeing the leaf colors change in fall? Exactly because of that special feeling, I wanted to make an autumn forest with leaves falling all over, while our character strolled down a sad path appreciating the beauty of nature. Now, why did I procrastinate on this particular piece? You see, I wasn't sure on how to draw the trees and the forest in general, since my sketch wasn't as clear as the others. This tends to happen a lot with big commissions. If you are an artist, you probably felt this too. Still, in AJ, because the stakes aren't as high, aka no real money involved, it had never happened to me before. Guess there's a first time for everything. Well, eventually I managed to pick up the pen and just push through it. I decided to start drawing the outline of the further away trees. And because the furthest objects usually blend in with the sky color, I drew them fading from blue to green, the closer they were to the foreground. They ended up not being as scary once I started, and I seriously enjoyed how this piece was coming together. Because pine trees don't really change colors, at least not that I know of, I added another type of tree. Not any in particular, just one that would seem to shed its leaves. So we could have that autumn feel. In the midground, there would be this really wide tree trunk with the roots carving into the ground and tangling between themselves. To show the permanent pace of the leaves falling, I tried to paint a leaf bed on the ground. Not my best work, but I tried. I feel like the volume they have isn't quite right, but it was good enough to pass. For the character, I gotta say it was really hard drawing the face features. Sometimes the smallest brush size seems to have different diameters, so I tend to restart the program a few times until I get it. Do you guys ever feel the same? Sometimes it's so thin I have trouble drawing the outlines. Other times it's too thick and I can't seem to draw the eyelashes properly. Oh well, whatever. Anyways. So, do you see the fox main color? Yep. You know what that means? Time to blend. And that didn't go too bad, but then it hit me. What about shading? How will I shade this now? Oh well, oops. I went for a warmer reddish tone for the highlight and grey for the shadow, but to be honest, if I redid this, I'd only go with grey tones. It was extremely difficult making this work with a blended color that didn't exist in this art minigame. Again, we live and we learn. Sometimes smaller details, yeah, go for it, but when it's the main color showing so much in the masterpiece, you just gotta scratch it and change it. Struggles aside, drawing the pigtails was lots of fun. Adding the highlights and the jewels, although at random cause I don't know how to paint jewels, turned out awesome. And can we talk about that sword? What is that? I had never seen it, and it's dope. If someone knows the name of that item, please let me know. Maybe I will try to get one for myself. All in all, here's the final result. I seriously love this piece. Being an Autumn fan makes me kinda biased though. I would love to know which one of these three was your favorite for this episode, so please leave it down below. And just like that, we're 6 episodes in. Are you enjoying the series so far? I think I'm gonna try to make this a 9-episode series, depending on, well, how long it will take me to get the items that I want, or if I will actually be able to afford them, but we'll see. Well, anyways, see you next week, and thank you so much for passing by.